Houston, we have ourselves a problem. Problem is, all of my comic book money is now going to original art. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So, I recently bought something that I would like to share with you guys in this video here today. A original art piece that is actually a comic book cover, but is also kind of doubled over as key art for video games as well, that I spent $7,000 on. And I am not upset at spending $7,000 on it. In fact, I am very, very pleased that I got this incredible piece for that price. But what I really want to talk about is that I think it's so interesting because in this current moment in time, I would much rather spend that type of money on an art piece than I would on comic books, which sort of begs ourselves the question, and maybe is going to be the bigger conversation besides show and tell for this video here today, which is to say, are comic collectors' budgets moving in mass to original art? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about it. But before I get into it, if you guys could like, comment, subscribe, I appreciate it. Helps support the channel doing those things. But let me get into the topic here today. Now, I will show you that art piece. But before I do, since we're speaking of art, we have to talk about original art comic book panels. If you happen to be in the San Diego area and you are going to San Diego Comic-Con, a little bit of a reminder that on Friday at 6:30 p.m. in room 24 ABC, I will be moderating a comic book original art panel with insiders Dinesh Shamsani, Michael Hansen, and Patrick A. Reed. We're going to be talking about original art buying, collecting, insider tips and tricks and best practices, all the things that you may want to know if you're somebody who is trying to get into original art. And like I said already in the beginning of this video, I think that there are a lot of people right now in the comic book space moving over to original art. And I'm going to show you a few examples later on, but we have to start with my example first. This piece right here. Now, very interesting story with this one. It is similar to the last time I did an original art video where I talked about a piece that I picked up for a game that I really, really enjoyed. That one was, in fact, for a version of that game. This is also for that game, except that this was, in fact, a comic book cover. And so I want to show it to you guys, and then I'll tell you the story of how it came about. But without further ado, let me show you this incredible wraparound cover done by legendary artist Alex Horley. World of Warcraft, DC Comics, Dark Riders wraparound cover. Look at this thing. For frame reference, I am 5'10". This is a massive piece of artwork, okay? This is a beautiful piece, incredible detail, and one of my all-time favorite video games, World of Warcraft. I know what you guys are thinking. What a nerd you are. I don't care. This is incredible fantasy artwork right here that is done by one of my favorite fantasy artists, Alex Horley, who I will talk about him more in a second. And one of the other cool things is that this was actually worked on by another artist at Blizzard, Samwise Didier. If you guys happen to know your Blizzard lore, you're going to know how important Samwise is to the creative of all the Blizzard properties. But I got this piece right here, paid $7,000 for it, and I want to just show you, There it is, the trade paperback of the comic book series. It is, in fact, a wraparound cover right there. Very, very cool. A fun book, fun read. And I was just so excited to pick this thing up. I mean, original art, guys, it is so awesome to have this stuff. I mean, you just really get lost into the world within the picture. You look at the canvas, you look at the textures, you see the mistakes. You see all the blood, sweat, and tears that go into it. You start to notice little extra details, and you kind of pick up on all the other characters right there. How they are composed in this painting. And yeah, ever since I had this, I've just been staring at it, looking at it. And, it's just incredible. If you guys happen to know the IP of Warcraft, this takes place in the zone known as Duskwood. And it just takes me back. It takes me back to running around as a character in that zone. Unbelievably, moody and creepy and like Halloween vibes, which I absolutely love for this piece. And it just brings out a lot of memories and makes me smile every time I look at it. And I'm happy to now add it to my collection. And it's cool. It's cool to have something that is both this really great video game fantasy piece, but was also used as a comic book cover. So I feel like I'm getting a lot of bang for my buck out of it. There's people that are going to appreciate it because it is a comic book published cover. There's people going to appreciate it from the video game art side of things. And there's people that are going to appreciate it as just sort of a fantasy pop cultural piece, which is why I had no problem in spending $7,000 on it, which is something that I paid directly to the artist because they still happen to have it in their gallery after all these years. And we're going to talk about, sliding into artists' DMs and how important that is if you're somebody that is interested in hunting original art pieces. But the more interesting part of it is this idea of, moving money over from the comic book budget to the original art budget. I mean, this is just anecdotal for me, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about this. But I'm definitely in a place where if it's a high value thing that I'm looking to pick up for myself, I kind of feel a little more comfortable putting that money into original art than a comic book. I mean, there's pros and cons here. A comic book might be easier to sell because I just happen to know the market so well that I know that if I put my money in this, it's going to be really easy for me to get my money out of it because I happen to know all the places I can sell this stuff, all the dealers and access to people that might be interested in a book like this versus original art. It's a kind of a different network and it's a little more illiquid overall. So your money is sort of tied up in it. But the fact that original art is one of one, and it is, in fact, literally the only thing that exists, and there is nobody that can undercut you for that piece of art, then you control the price. And so it's only going to sell if you're willing to let it go. And I think that that has been one of the reasons why a lot of people in the collecting space have been moving over to original art and comic book art and things like that because of the fact that, people want to have more control over the value and the price of the things that they're buying and know that they own something that is actually rare and actually something that, the next person over or the next eBay account is not going to be able to undercut them on those prices. And this is true when I hop over to other profiles who are friends of the channel and other comic book collectors, but shout out to 99 Newsstand. Look at his recent pickup. He picked up this awesome cover of Spider-Man Adventures, which is the first appearance of the animated version of Venom. And this right here is one of his Grail covers. He was super excited to pick this up, and he spent about, I think 5 figures on it. I can't remember the exact price that he got it for, but this is something that, he was absolutely looking to pick up this type of piece versus, say, some Grail comic book that is, the Mark Jeweler 99, whatever else he would have in his collection. Similarly, back in the game comics, shout out to Rohan here. He's been cleaning it up, buying up these original pieces of Marvel card art. I mean, I don't know who his contacts are, but he's been getting these things like they grow on trees. I mean, look at this Silver Surfer Series 3 Marvel card, the one done by Ron Lim. He recently picked that one up. He also got this one by Strong Guy. He picked up this page right here that had the Black Widow on it, the Iceman, and the Gambit. I'm so jealous that he was able to find this. I mean, this is an awesome page to have. I remember those Marvel cards like it was yesterday. I mean, I actually do think that, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think that this might be Black Widow's rookie card. I don't think she was ever used in the Series 2 and Series 1 sets. So I think that that's her, first comic card that was ever drawn of her. And then this to me is just like one of the most iconic Gambit images, at least, from my memory. I just absolutely love how that one was done. And I just think that this is one of those things that a lot of people in our hobby in the space, looking to buy those original art pieces. I mean, they might still be into comic books, in general, but when it comes to the big Grail purchases, seems to be that's where they're putting their money. Now, I wanted to talk about, the process that it was for me to pick up this incredible Alex Horley piece. He recently worked on Conan the Barbarian. I mean, this is just the new Conan set that's coming out. All this stuff is going to be at San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, look at this artwork right here. Look at how crazy that is. I don't know if that one's for sale, but that one would be one that I would absolutely be interested in. And just incredible artwork from him. I mean, he's done some amazing depictions of, fantasy artwork, really well done bodies. I mean, look at Conan right there, just sitting like a mega Giga Chad, on his throne with the hot chick next to him by his side. I mean, that right there is Conan the Barbarian. I mean, I love Alex's work. I mean, another badass Warcraft piece that he did right there. He also does a lot of Marvel trading cards. He did this one for Deadpool that I think was used for Marvel Snap and some of the other trading card artwork. Some other cool ones here, one for Daredevil. Again, a lot of this artwork is getting really popular. The trading card art and the Marvel Snap stuff. I love it when these images are doubling over for both, video game space and the comic collectible space, because I feel like the more people know it, if they see it in Marvel Snap or they see it in, their favorite comic book or card collecting thing, that just is going to have more people that recognize this piece as being more significant to pop culture, which kind of improves, the brand awareness for the piece and the artist. Another one he did was Storm right there from the Savage Land. So very, very cool work. And I'm so excited to have been able to add a piece that he has done to my collection. Very, very, very cool. And yeah, this is it, guys. Look at this one more time. I mean, look at how awesome this thing is. I freaking love this. I'm going to hang this on the wall. It's going to go back there. What do you guys think? I'm going to get it framed once I get back from San Diego, and then I can change my YouTube over to art collector because, art collecting was not one of the unattractive things on the unattractive hobby list that was stated by women. I'm just kidding. I love comic books, guys. I'm still going to buy comic books, but I think it's interesting, right? It's interesting how a lot of people have been moving over to the art collecting world, and I wonder if that is true for you. Now, last little thing, I'll just say to kind of, wrap up the story, maybe it helps to explain how I came across this piece, and maybe you guys can use this in your own comic art hunting journeys. But again, I was a fan of this property. I've had this trade paperback for a long time, read it, a bunch of times over the years, and, thought to myself, hey, I wonder if that piece actually still exists, and I already knew that it was done by Alex Horley. So I went over to, his Instagram and I slid into his DMs and I just happened to ask him if he happened to have any of his original artwork up for sale. He redirected me to his website, and on his website, I was able to find his art rep. And it was just a simple email to his art rep. She was wonderful. Stacy Walker replied right away, wrote me back an email. I said, hey, I'm interested in the Warcraft pieces. She gave me an entire list of, the stuff that was up for sale, with the prices on it and the sizes of it. It was actually a very, very easy experience, which is not always the case with a lot of original art purchasing. But this piece happened to be available on it. And I said, I will happily take it off your hands. A bank wire later, I was in a parking lot in Orange County picking up this art piece, and now making this video with you guys here today. Anyways, that's all for this video. That was me sharing my recent art acquisition. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys in a similar situation where you've been allocating a lot of your comic book budget to either other hobbies or to original art pieces that are maybe related to your favorite hobby? If you're down in San Diego, make sure to attend our art panel on Friday. I'll put a link in the description. I will be reporting in vlog form, so stay tuned and keep an eye out for those videos. Anyways, that's all for this one. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. See y'all in the next art video.